Hello! Today we're doing another Pokemon challenge. Can we beat Pokemon Firered while only using Missingno? So we've done a similar challenge to that before with Pokemon Red, and probably a lot of you are already asking, how did you do that? Because Missingno is not a playable Pokemon in Pokemon Firered. So basically what I did is I took a Pokemon and replaced it with a copy of Missingno. It has the same base stats, and I also changed the TMs from Firered so that the usable TMs for Missingno are basically replaced with the Pokemon Red ones. So next order of business is getting our starter, which for whatever reason it says it's a steel Pokemon. Okay, no idea where that's coming from, like looking at Missingno itself. Definitely not a steel Pokemon, but whatever. And go into the first fight that we promptly lose. Missingno is just way too weak. Thankfully this battle is optional, so it doesn't really bother me. Then we try to go to the first city, because obviously we want to make progress. And then this happened. And this. And this. As you can see, we wiped out multiple times. Like, legitimately I had big problems to even get to the next city, because Missingno's attack is just so weak. And escaping is another issue, because Missingno is also really slow. After we finally made it, we go to Professor Oak, give him the parcel to receive the Pokédex. So let's go on our journey. I decided to level up to level 7 before even bothering to fight the first trainer, just from experience with the Pokemon Red challenge. Although I think this one will be quite a bit harder, for the simple fact that Gen 3 AI is nowhere near as dumb as like Gen 1 AI. Grinding was only real possible on Kakunas for us, since Caterpies were sort of okay, Pikachu, no way, not happening, and Weedles have a tendency to poison us, which, that's not good. Like, we getting poisoned, that's an instant dead. So we tried the first trainer, which actually went pretty well. The second trainer, not so much. He poisoned us and we just barely survived it. Sky Attack needing 2 turns to charge up, basically like in the first challenge, is a real issue. Also, accuracy is another huge issue with Sky Attack. Really looking forward to getting different moves. So in Viridian Forest we had quite a few close fights, but we didn't actually wipe out anymore, so let's jump to Pewter City. We skipped the first trainer in the gym and straight up went to Brock, which didn't go very well like in the original challenge. Even though we have Water Gun, we just don't stand a chance against Brock at all. We're just wiping out. So it's grinding time again. I'm going to spare you the awful grind all the way up to level 12. So at level 12 we give Brock another shot. And well, we lose again. But I think it's possible, so after 5 more tries we get this run, where we get a critical hit by a luck, and he refuses to use Rock Throw, which gave us the win. So first gym cleared. So let's obtain the running shoes and continue in our journey. Here you see a fight where we actually wiped out again. Trainers who have a lot of Pokemon are a really big issue, especially if they have something that can poison us. So yeah, we took a second try to beat him. In Mount Moon we did wipe out a couple of times due to either having really bad luck or just running out of PP, but nothing that really brickwalled us. After getting to Cerulean City, I first decided to give Misty's gym a shot. It didn't go very well. Misty is just way too strong for us right now. So since that really didn't work out, I tried the rival fight, which didn't go much better, so it's back to grinding. After a painfully long grind all the way up to level 25, we actually managed to beat our rival. Since the rival fight was such a success, I decided to give Misty another shot. It still didn't work out, so we're going to go to the Nugget Bridge first to get some level ups. Nugget Bridge wasn't causing us any issues, but I decided to go to the SSN first before giving Misty another shot because I wasn't confident enough that we could beat her yet. I beat all the trainers on the SSN, which took a while because we constantly have to go heal up, because Missingno is just that weak. So let's jump straight into the rival fight, which for once actually went really well, and we beat him really easy. So let's get the HM4 cut. So after beating the SSN, we catch an Oddish to get to the next gym, just for me to forget that you can't use cut before you've beaten Misty. So let's go back and beat Misty, which actually went pretty well. We're finally strong enough at level 33 so that her Stormy's water pulse is not one-shotting us. After we beat Misty, it's Lieutenant Surge time. Me being me, again, I repeated that a couple of times before. It took me ages to get through the gym puzzle, but whatever. So let's get there, and we lost. Because we got paralyzed and Raichu is just way too quick. We tried it again and basically the same result. Even though Missingno is just a ported Pokemon from Pokemon Red, it still has some glitches. At some point I tried to learn the attack for question mark. I have no idea what happened here. So it's grinding time again. We went back to Lieutenant Surge after grinding up all the way to level 38, which took forever, and then we finally managed to beat Lieutenant Surge. After Lieutenant Surge, we headed to the Diglett's cave to get the TM4 Flash behind it. And then we basically went all the way to Lavendia. We had a few couple of close fights, but nothing that interesting, so let's jump straight into the rival battle. It actually went really well. At this point, we're just way too over-leveled for our opponents. So yeah, rival fight pretty easy for once. So before going to Erika's gym, we did obtain the HM4 Fly to replace Sky Attack with it. Sky Attack is basically useless at this point for us, and Fly will be much better. So it's Erika gym time. It went pretty well, thanks to Missingno having Fly, so we basically swept her team, which earns us our 4th badge. So far this is going pretty decent, I would say. So next is Rocket Hideout. We basically sweep through it. It isn't really an issue, but we do find the TM for Tri Attack, which we immediately teach Missingno, since it's much better than Mega Kick, especially for the 100% accuracy. Next up is the Giovanni fight. Wasn't really an issue. Onyx needed 2 water guns and the rest we just swept with Tri Attack. Also then we pick up the Selfsco. We're going to skip Lavender Town since really nothing interesting happened. We rescued Mr. Fuji and got the Pokeflute, beat Snorlax, and made our way to Fuchsia City. So next up is the fight against Koga. Koga really wasn't an issue. We basically swept his whole team with Tri Attack. At the moment, we're just at a way too high level for our opponent, but I'm pretty sure that won't last forever, and we will run into much more trouble later. At least that's what I'm thinking. As usual in Gen 3, now we do a little detour to get the HM4 Surf, and also the Golden Teeth that we give back to the Warden. Again, he doesn't clean it and just puts them in his mouth. This time we're doing things kind of out of order. So we catch the Pokemon to surf and went straight up to Cinnabar Island, where we entered the Pokemon Mansion to retrieve the key for the gym. Also we found the TM for Blizzard, which we gave Missingno basically immediately. So next up is the Master of Super Potions, Blaine. Oh wait, wrong gen. So basically the Blaine fight went terribly. In the first try we got one-shot by a critical hit from his Rapidash. The second try we actually got past his Rapidash thanks to Quick Glow activating. But then we got one-shot by a Fire Blast from his Arcanine. So yeah, that's not happening yet. Since the Blaine fight obviously isn't happening yet, I decided to go to Silphsco since we have a lot of different things to do yet. We basically beat a few trainers, got the keycard and went straight into our rival battle. It didn't go very well because our rival's Charizard just one-shots us with Flamethrower. So we're definitely not at a high enough level to beat him, because I tried that fight multiple times. It's not happening. Charizard just one-shots us every single time. After that fail, I went and cleared out every single trainer in the Silphsco building and went back into the rival fight. This time we actually won, because we managed to speed out Charizard at level 73. So finally we're making progress again. You all know what's coming next. After the rival fight, obviously it's the Giovanni fight, which as always wasn't really much of a threat. After that brutal fight against our rival, Giovanni was just a pushover. After the Giovanni fight we went straight up into Sabrina's gym. She wasn't really an issue. As long as we outspeed the Pokemon, I think we're fine for now. Basically all her Pokemons were one-shots. So next order of business then is going back to Blaine. How did it went? The answer is just no. So we now outspeed his Arcanine, which is fine, but it survives with a Sliver, and even at level 76, it still one-shots us with Fire Blast. After trying that fight multiple times and failing over and over again, I decided it's time for us to grind again. So we leveled up Missingno all the way to level 79 and tried it again. The result was basically the same. We still don't manage to one-shot Arcanine. It one-shots us with Fire Blast, and that's about the story. I tried it again multiple times, it doesn't work, so even more grinding, I guess. After a horrible grind to level 82, we finally managed to defeat Blaine, because we finally one-shot his Arcanine. I'm so glad this horrible grind is over and we can finally make progress again. So next up is the Giovanni fight, our final gym leader fight. As you guessed from the previous Giovanni fights, not much of a threat, was actually really easy, but we did get DTM for Earthquake, which we promptly gave our Missingno to replace Bubble Beam, because obviously Earthquake is a much better attack than Bubble Beam. So this leaves us with the last rival fight before we can get to Victory Road. The first few Pokemons weren't really an issue, but then comes his Alakazam, which outspeeds us and promptly one-shots us with Psychic. After grinding to level 88, we give the rival fight another shot. This time it actually went quite a bit better, but only for the reason that Alakazam didn't use Psychic, it used Future Sight, which gave me a lot of hope at first, but then we come to his Charizard, which also outspeeds us and just one-shots us with Flamethrower. So no chance we're going to beat him yet. So this obviously means more grinding. So after leveling up all the way to level 90, we try it again. Alakazam still outspeeds us and hits us with a Psychic that leaves us with only 7 HP. We actually now get to his Charizard, but having only 7 HP, Charizard easily finishes us off. Okay, this is getting ridiculous. After leveling up all the way to level 93, we try our rival battle again. Alakazam still outspeeds us and one-shots us with Psychic. I have no idea why the one time it didn't one-shot us. Maybe he just had an extremely bad roll, so yeah. Clearly this is still not happening. At this point I have serious doubts that this challenge is even possible. After the last battle I kind of got fed up a bit and decided, well, let's see if the challenge is even possible. So I leveled Missingno all the way up to level 100 and tried it again. We finally outspeed his Alakazam and one-shot it. Same with his Charizard, so this horrible fight is finally over. Although I have serious doubts about being able to beat the Pokemon League, seeing how much we struggled with this fight. So in Victory Road really nothing interesting happened. Let's skip to the Elite Four. First up is Lorelei. That wasn't a challenge. We basically swept our whole team with Tri-Attack. I doubt that later trainers will be that easy. Next up is Bruno with his fighting Pokemon. Also not really a threat. We beat him with a mix of Fly and using Earthquake. Next up is Agatha. This is where the pain really begins. Look at Golbat, it uses Confuse Ray to confuse us. We hit ourselves in confusion and look how much damage we do. We nearly wipe out just from being hit from confusion. So Gengar obviously has a really easy time finishing us off. But even if we get unharmed from Golbat, we still have a really hard time with Gengar. I've lost to Gengar over and over and over again. It doesn't really matter. Sludge Bomb just does way too much damage. Hypnosis is way too much of a threat. Basically everything about this Gengar is just a massive threat. This was one of the worst battles I've ever had in a Pokemon challenge, Nuzlocke, randomizer, whatever. It took me over 400 attempts until I got this run where I, by some miracle, got this run where I actually beat her. But I already hear you say, don't worry Yui, it's going to get a lot easier from here out, right? Ha! Yeah, no. Lance is a massive, massive pain, and I can't find a way to get around him. Let me show you why. So here comes Lance then. It's a miracle if we even manage to get past his Aerodactyl. I've tried this fight over 500 times, and about 450 times I didn't even get past his Aerodactyl. But even if we get through his Aerodactyl, then comes his Dragonite, which is also faster than us. And Outrage, you guessed it, it one-shots us. But even if we have enough luck, and it happened once, that we get past Aerodactyl and in the fight against Dragonite, the quick load triggers, we can't one-shot it, so it one-shots us. This fight clearly is not possible, and I've spent so much time on this fight. I have to give up. I've tried everything. I've tried using Ice Beam, I've tried using Blizzard. I basically tried to exhaust all the options we had. As I said, I tried this fight over 500 times. It doesn't work out, sadly. So this is where we have to end the challenge. There isn't a way to get past Lance's Dragonite. So yeah, that's ending the video a bit on a sad note. But thank you all for stopping by. I hope you enjoyed the challenge. It definitely was a very frustrating one. Either it went really well, or it went like incredibly bad. Kinda sad that we can't actually beat Lance, but even if we would manage by some miracle to beat Lance, no way we would make it through our rival again. Alakazam or Charizard would surely 100% outspeed us again and just one-shot us. It's just not possible. So, yeah, see you next time.